We're here today on set to do something quite special, I think. We were actually due to be holding a coterie session on this very day. And obviously for various reasons we couldn't do that. And we thought, well, what can we do? We've got the crew, we've got the studio, we've got an amazing lineup of artists, and we really want to showcase their talents. So we thought, let's bring the essence of the coterie session into a closed set and let the magic happen. We're really privileged to have BaByliss PRO support us on this project and to, I suppose, work with us on something new. So the concept is very much about individuality, individual personalities, individual talent, individual techniques, approaches, individual people. And we just wanted to give these artists a space in which they can do what they love and create without really having to meet any kind of brief.
So you guys were like, just show us what you've got. And I was kind of torn because as a hairdresser, you kind of want to go, let's just do everything. Let's go mental and make it wild.
So yeah, this is the first time being part of a campaign or on set where there's just saying, do what you want. And I don't know what I'm going to do.
Having this creative freedom has meant that I can explore all those things I used to love doing, and finding, you know, my new style and like what works for me.
Yeah, let the clippers take me where they take me.
I wanted somebody that represented a kind of modern beauty for me, and that is a bit more of a street girl, a bit more of a skater girl, a bit more kind of androgynous gender play, somebody that kind of doesn't need to be overdone.
Yeah.
I think Blythe has like super amazing features, her eyes and her lips, like, so let's work on those. I used to stay with my aunt most weekends as I was growing up as a young boy, so from the age of about 6 or 7 I would do her hair every weekend, and it was a way that we kind of connected, and it was something to do, I guess, and it was kind of a gift that she gave me from a really young age that has seen me through and now is, you know, my career and I love. Try some bits on just to work out like what works, and then we know kind of exactly where we're going to go with it.
We can work with our shapes and figure things out.
Yes.
Like if something good comes out, I'll do it, and if that's fashion, beauty. I just like doing hair. I don't want to be a celebrity hairdresser, that's not my driven goal, where some people's it is. Mine is just to do nice hair, and you get, I think if you do nice hair and do good jobs, you get, the work comes from that. You know, I'd rather people know my work first before they know who I am. When you work with clients and stuff, they have a vision of what from one extreme to the other, and you've got a whole day to do that. So today for me, showing how to adapt looks throughout the day. And it's like a proper sleek pony.
Amazing, okay.
So that could be quite nice. Hair's going to be sort of off at the back, yeah. So, you know, like, so that over the top thing, I think, you see a neckline, basically.
Yeah.
I was learning to be a tattooist, I was in art, I was a bit of a rebel really, and the hairdressing community just kind of took me in, and I was like, actually I'm really good at this, I'm good with people, and it kind of like escalated from there.
So she's going to be wearing like really 70s, but I want to make it really edgy and street. So what I'm thinking is like super polished, shiny skin, quite dewy, with like a statement eye.
I think what influences me as an artist is sort of the rebellion, the no rules, the fact that you can do anything that you want and you can create a speech or create a movement. For me, that's what being an artist is, being unapologetic and being unapologetically you.
I always had an interest in hair. I was always watching people's haircuts. Didn't have money to go to the barber shop, so I was getting home haircuts. And that made me pick up the clipper to say, you know what? Let me try and give myself a good haircut. Because no offense to my older brothers or my mum, but the haircuts weren't good. I like the kind of like smart, simple, Look, it's a very nice jacket. It started building where it's like, now I'm cutting this person regularly, and then someone else sees them and goes, oh, who cut your hair? Because oh, Slider did it, you know, and it's free.
So we could even like layer it up, so we could even have this and then have that underneath with the t-shirts. And you get, yeah.
And I started saying, you know what, I'm working in a barbershop now, I can start charging people some money, so I started charging £3. Now I'm here, owning my own barbershop, charging more than £3.
I'm also from a family of like 8 hairdressers, so it was kind of always going to happen, I think. I went to work for a salon that said you either do cut or colour, and we think you'd be good at cut and styling. And I was like, okay, awesome, I'll drop colour. And then 3 months into that, I decided that I missed colour, so I went and started at a well-known salon in central London, and from there kind of focused massively on colour and developed my colour knowledge. It was my weaker side, so I made it my strong point. I'm quite open. I'm not kind of set on anything. Okay. I like the structure of this, and kind of the bold lines rather than it being colourful. Yeah. So I try not to be kind of too set on what I'm going to do until I meet my model, see her hair, see her vibe, and then work with it from there.
I tend to work with strong women that kind of have a strong identity for themselves, and I help to enhance that. So we've gone through with a little bit more of a leave-in conditioner and an oil to kind of help define. A modern texture wave for me has a little bit of a frayed edge to it anyway, and I love that, and that's kind of what natural hair is, so yeah. I don't want to get rid of that completely. And we've just kind of livened up her natural hair, which is like really beautiful. I'm going to work through with a tong now, just on certain areas, just to kind of define some ends and add a little bit more wave. But for me, a natural textured beauty look isn't about completely losing what the hair naturally wants to do. It's about enhancing that.
I just like to put my comb in there a little bit, just to add a little bit of a ridge to that already wave that's there. And as you can see, as it starts going down, it's going to start getting more and more polished. You want to get a smooth start first, otherwise it's not going to work. It's going to start looking bushy and frizzy, and we're already going to comb this out. So we want a polished look before we go in with our wavers. So
it's not about this is what I can do, watch me. As much as I've got a big personality, it's about trying to leave something here when I'm gone. And if that's for people to be able to do all hair types, then that's what I want to be known for. So for me, it's just being about pushing boundaries and doing whatever the hell you want.
And then I've just added some little studs that I'm just poking through, just to add a little bit more of an edge and to just make it a little bit raw.
It's my idea of beauty, and I don't know how to describe that. It just looks nice. But then other people might think it looks rubbish. So I don't know, you know, it's just whatever I think, I suppose. Yeah, I just try and push that along, and hopefully it works. So obviously when we normally put these in, people normally grip this to the ponytail, and we're already, from a model's point of view, it's quite painful already with it being quite tight. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some padding around, and then we're going to attach this to the padding. So obviously for our client or model, it's a little bit more easier for her.
Like the style I do most will be skin fade with either wave level on top or curl king level on top, which is when you do the natural curl with a sponge. See, I love doing those styles there, but because it's so repetitive, I'm now starting to love the idea of being pushed outside of that. I want to do more patterns. I want to do scissor cutting. The other stuff I'm doing is autopilot, but I want to push myself outside of autopilot. You know, I guess I want to be in that place where I'm nervous cutting hair. You don't have to stick to the plan at all, you know. You know, being creative is about, you know, creating things and, you know, be free.
I've gone for something more kind of knotted, a little bit more texture in there, and I didn't want to go too over the top, so it's kind of not as crazy as it could be. When you knot the hair, you can manipulate it in different directions, so I wasn't dead set on what I was going to do. I kind of just went with it.
We're lucky enough to work with these guys a lot, and we really understand what their day-to-day lives are like, what that entails. But actually, for many up-and-coming stylists, colorists, barbers, who are just looking up to the industry and sort of finding their own path, they don't necessarily know what it entails. And I suppose it's not about sugarcoating. We really wanted for our stylists to keep it real and be honest about what's happening and why.
The pandemic has affected everybody. You know, the protests, I can't say has affected everybody, but me being black and the protests are all around Black Lives Matter definitely has affected me. It's funny because I put up a post before during the heat of it, you know, the protests, and I was saying that a lot of people were feeling like, where did this all come from? But working in a black barbershop since I was 18, I'm 35 now, you know, growing up in black communities, these things which were spoken about, you know, openly be spoken about now, have always been spoken about. It's not something that people have had an awakening to within black communities, it's more so people are having an awakening to it outside.
I've been a textured hair specialist for over 14 years, and that's why I put into place training. I just hope that people do the training and it doesn't go away like many things that we see on Instagram. People put a black square on their Instagram, just disappears, everything goes back to selfies, normal life, look at my food. So what I want to see is actual change, and I want to see people actually, you know, don't talk the talk, walk the walk, walk and talk at the same time.
Because a lot of people said, you know, it's made them re-evaluate the way they see life and the way they're going to live life. And I have as well. You know, the thing that came out of this bad situation was that I got to spend time with my children that I never would have spent. There's never going to be a time in our life when we'd have 3.5 months, just us every single day. And I absolutely love that. But as I said, it came from a tragic situation, so it's one of those kind of like, this is great, but this isn't great.
So my plans kind of drastically changed. Going into lockdown, it was like, okay, I'd planned my whole year. Leaving my job, I was hoping to go to Australia and move there. Like now, how does my year look? My rent was due up, so it was like, do I stay in London, do I not stay in London? And I decided to stay, and I think actually leaving my job and having more freedom made me realise the change that I wanted was actually to be self-employed and to be freelance.
Within your salon, if you can encourage independent stylists and you can encourage freelancers, I think that's amazing, and it's going to be amazing to make your business grow. And I'm seeing loads of freelancers and independents, and I'm loving it. So yeah, I'm really happy to see that.
We've been in lockdown for the past like 4 months, and out on the street I find it really exciting because people aren't following trends that are set by big companies. They're having to sort of embrace what they are. Their hair's grown out, it's all kind of a little bit unkept. They're sort of self-cutting, self-dyeing, they're styling themselves. It's a real time of self-expression, which I find really, really exciting.
As much as it is about the here and now and what we've just been through and a space to create, it's very much about looking ahead as well. I hope this piece is just a lovely 10 minutes of creativity and insight, no matter where you are in your career.
During lockdown, our industry has been massively highlighted for being niche. People really wanted to get back into the hairdressers, and not only just to get their hair done, but to kind of touch and contact, and just a space for many people it's to clear their heads, and it lifts people, and you really see that, and I love that.